You gave them everything. Your time. Your secrets. Your trust. You let them into the parts of yourself that nobody else ever gets to see. You thought, this one is different. This one is safe. And then one day, something shifted. Maybe it was a late-night conversation that felt slightly off. Maybe it was a look they gave you when they thought you weren't watching. Maybe it was just a feeling, deep in your chest, like a quiet alarm going off in a room nobody else could hear. You told yourself you were overthinking it. You said, I'm just being paranoid. But here's what science tells us, your brain knew before you did. Researchers have found that the human mind picks up on tiny changes in behavior, micro-expressions, small shifts in tone, patterns that don't quite add up, long before your conscious mind catches on. Your gut wasn't lying to you. You were just too afraid to listen. This video is about that feeling. And more importantly, it's about what you do before the damage is done. Because betrayal doesn't arrive all at once. It builds. Quietly. Patiently. And the people who protect themselves best aren't the ones who trust less, they're the ones who know more. Stay with me. What you're about to learn could change everything. Before we go any further, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell. I know, you've heard that 100 times. But this time, I want you to think about why. The people who scroll past this video, the ones who watch a little and move on, they're the same people who will find themselves blindsided 6 months from now, wondering how they didn't see it coming. You're still here. That means something. That means a part of you already knows you need this. Subscribing isn't doing me a favor. It's doing yourself one. Because this channel exists for one reason, to give you the kind of knowledge that protects you, that sharpens you, that makes you harder to hurt. So make the choice right now. Subscribe. And let's keep going, because what comes next is something most people are never told. Here is the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. The people who get betrayed the most are not weak people. They are not foolish people. They are not broken people. They are the best people. The most loyal. The most caring. The most emotionally aware. The ones who feel deeply, who give freely, who believe that how they treat others is how they deserve to be treated in return. And that belief, as beautiful as it is exactly what makes them a target. Think about it this way. Imagine you have a high-quality lock. The best lock money can buy. But the door it's on has glass panels. Anyone who really wants to get in doesn't need to break the lock. They just reach through the glass. Your empathy is the glass panel. Researchers who study betrayal, people who have spent years understanding why trust gets broken, have found something they call the empathy tax. People who are highly empathetic naturally project good intentions onto others. They assume that because they would never do something cruel, the people around them wouldn't either. This isn't weakness. It's actually a sign of emotional intelligence. But it comes at a cost. You see the best in people. And the wrong people know exactly how to use that against you. There's another piece to this. Loyal people are the slowest to walk away. When someone who deeply values trust starts seeing warning signs, they don't run, they make excuses. They say, maybe they're just going through something. They say, I don't want to judge them too quickly. They stay. They give more chances. They keep investing in someone who stopped investing in them a long time ago. And here is the cruel irony. The more you value loyalty, the more vulnerable you are to people who only pretend to have it. This is not your fault. But it is your responsibility to understand it, because understanding it is the first step to changing it. Now I want to take you somewhere uncomfortable. I want to show you how the other side thinks. Because here's the thing, most people who betray others are not monsters. They don't have evil written on their faces. They don't show up looking dangerous. They show up looking like exactly what you needed. They are warm. They are charming. They seem to understand you in a way that few people ever have. And that feeling of being seen, is intoxicating. It pulls you in fast. But here's what's actually happening behind the scenes. There is a cycle. It happens in 3 stages. And once you can see it, you can never unsee it. Stage 1, idealization. This is when they make you feel special. They mirror your values back to you. If you value honesty, they talk about how much honesty matters to them. If you value deep connection, they tell you they've never met anyone they've connected with like this before. They become a reflection of everything you've been looking for. It feels almost too good to be true, because it is. Stage 2, extraction. Once they have your trust, once you've opened the door, the real reason they came becomes visible. Maybe they needed your emotional support and they drain it completely. Maybe they needed access to your network, your resources, your loyalty. Maybe they just needed someone to control. Whatever they came for, they take it. Slowly. Quietly. While you're still telling yourself how lucky you are to have them. Stage 3, disposal. When they have what they wanted, or when keeping up the act becomes too much work, they leave. And the way they leave is often the cruelest part. Suddenly cold. Suddenly distant. Making you feel like you did something wrong. Leaving you confused, reaching back, trying to figure out what happened to the person you thought you knew. That person never existed. There's a well-known idea in psychology about how people do favors early in a relationship to create a sense of debt. They do nice things for you, big things, not because they're generous, but because generosity creates obligation. You start to feel like you owe them something. You feel guilty saying no. You feel wrong for questioning them. They built that on purpose. This is not love. This is strategy. And knowing this strategy is the armor that will protect you going forward. Let me ask you something. Looking back on a relationship that hurt you, was there ever a moment, even a small one, where something felt off? A moment where you pushed the feeling down because you didn't want to be wrong about them? Most people, when they look back honestly, say yes. The signs were there. They were just hidden in plain sight. And the mind has a way of explaining away what the heart doesn't want to accept. This is called cognitive dissonance, the mental gymnastics we do to keep believing something comfortable when the evidence is telling us something different. It's like ignoring the check engine light in your car because the car is still moving. The car keeps moving, until it doesn't. So here are the 5 warning signals. The ones that most people miss. Or choose not to see. Signal 1, their words and their actions don't match. They say they care about you, but they're never there when it matters. They say you can count on them, but they disappear when things get hard. Pay attention to the pattern, not the promise. Anyone can say the right thing. What matters is what they do, consistently, over time. Signal 2, hot and cold behavior. One day they are warm, present, engaged. The next day they are distant, cold, and uninterested. And you spend all your energy trying to figure out which version is the real one, and how to bring back the good version. This emotional cycling is not a personality quirk. It's a mechanism of control. It keeps you off balance. It keeps you chasing. Signal 3, they test your boundaries, but they call it a joke. They push past a limit you've set and then laugh it off. I was only kidding. Can't you take a joke? One test is an accident. A pattern of tests is a blueprint. They are finding out how far they can go before you push back. And if you never push back, they take that as an invitation to go further. Signal 4, they came in too fast, too intense. They told you they loved you before they even knew you. They called you their person, their soulmate, their everything, within weeks of meeting you. This is called love bombing. And it feels incredible. But real love grows. It builds gradually, through shared time and tested trust. When someone rushes the process, it usually means they're not building something, they're buying something. They're trying to lock you in before you can see clearly. Signal 5, after getting what they need, they pull back. Watch what happens after they receive something from you. After you help them through a hard moment. After you do them a big favor. After you invest deeply in them emotionally. Do they grow closer to you? Or do they become slightly more distant? This is one of the quietest signals, but one of the most telling ones. Your gut already knew all of this. The question is whether you'll listen to it this time. There comes a moment in every one of these relationships where something shifts. Not a big dramatic moment at first. Just a small, quiet shift. A feeling like the ground under you isn't quite as solid as it used to be. And you tell yourself you're imagining it, because by this point, you've already invested so much. That investment is the trap. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it the sunk cost trap. The idea is simple: the more you put into something, the harder it is to walk away, even when every sign is telling you to go. You think about all the time you gave, all the love you showed, all the ways you showed up. And leaving feels like admitting that all of it was wasted. So you stay. You give a little more. You try a little harder. And the other person knows this. They count on it. Think about a moment in your own life. Maybe you were in a friendship or a relationship that had already started to hurt you, but you kept hanging on. Not because it was good, but because of everything you'd already given. You were trying to earn back the version of the relationship that existed in the beginning. But that version was never coming back. Because that version may never have been real. The final betrayal, the moment the trap fully closes, is almost never one single event. It's a pattern finally made undeniable. It's the accumulation of 100 small moments you explained away, until one day, you can't explain any of them away anymore. And you see it all clearly, what it was, what they were doing, and how long it had been happening. That clarity is devastating. But it is also the beginning of something powerful. Because now you know. And knowing changes everything. So now we get to the part you came for. Not just understanding the problem, but building the solution. A real, practical way to protect your emotional world before betrayal ever gets the chance to reach it. I want to give you a framework. Something simple, memorable, and powerful. I call it the TRUST framework, and every letter stands for a tool you can start using right now. T. Test consistency over time. Do not judge a person by how they act in week 1. Or even month 1. Anyone can perform goodness for a short period of time. What you need to see is how they behave consistently, when things are easy and when things are hard. Do they show up the same way in difficult moments as they do in good ones? Consistency over time is the only real measure of character. R. Read patterns, not promises. People will tell you who they are through their behavior long before they ever admit it in words. Stop listening so hard to what they say and start watching what they do. A pattern is the truth. A promise is just a sentence. When the two don't match, believe the pattern. Every time. You use emotional detachment during the evaluation phase. This is not about being cold. This is about being clear. When you first meet someone, before you've decided to invest deeply, give yourself permission to observe without attaching. You can be warm and open while still watching. You can be kind while still paying attention. Detachment in the early stage is not a wall. Think of it as a filter. Set graduated boundaries and watch the reaction. Here's a powerful tool. As you get to know someone, set small boundaries and see how they respond. Not big dramatic ones, just small, reasonable limits. Do they respect it and move on? Or do they push back, guilt you, or make you feel wrong for having the limit? How someone reacts to a small boundary tells you almost everything about how they will handle power in your relationship. T. Trust withdrawal patterns more than presence. Pay attention to when someone pulls back, not just when they show up. Because showing up when they need something is easy. What tells the truth is what they do after they get it. Do they stay engaged? Or do they slowly fade? The withdrawal pattern shows you the real purpose of their connection. There is one more idea I want to give you. Think of emotional access like a building with airlocks. Not a wall that keeps everyone out, but a series of doors that you open one at a time. You let someone through the first door. You observe them there. You see how they behave, how they treat you, whether their actions match their words. Only then do you open the second door. Real, healthy vulnerability is not about giving everyone everything at once. It is about giving access in layers, based on what has been earned. The 90-day rule is simple. Before you invest your deepest trust, your deepest emotions, your deepest loyalty in someone, give it 90 days of real observation. Not 90 days of hope. 90 days of watching. This one habit alone can protect you from years of pain. Here is the most important shift in this entire video. Most people, after they've been hurt, focus all their energy on trying to find better people. Safer people. More trustworthy people. They think the problem is out there, in who they choose. But the deeper truth is this: protection begins inside you. There is a difference between paranoia and discernment. Paranoia sees danger everywhere and trusts no one. Discernment sees clearly, and gives trust only where it has been earned. One is fear. The other is power. The goal is not to build walls. Walls don't protect you, they just isolate you. What you are building is something different. It is emotional sovereignty. The ability to stand fully in your own sense of self, your own values, your own worth, without needing any one person to validate it. Here is something that will stay with you: people who have done the inner work, who know who they are, who are grounded in their own identity. They are simply less attractive to manipulators. Not because they are cold, but because they don't provide what manipulators feed on. They don't react in ways that reward the game. They don't collapse when someone pulls away. They don't chase when someone goes cold. The manipulator moves on. Because there is nothing here to control. The great Stoic philosophers understood this thousands of years ago. The idea that you have power over your mind, over your responses, your boundaries, your values, even when you cannot control what others do. That internal power is a fortress no one can break into. Build your identity outside of any single relationship. Build it in your work, your values, your friendships, your growth. So that if one person turns out to be different than you thought, it hurts, yes. But it does not destroy you. Because your foundation is not built on them. Detachment, when it comes from this place, is not coldness. It is clarity. It is strength. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows their own worth, and will not give it away to someone who hasn't earned it. That is the person you are becoming. We started this video with a feeling. That quiet alarm. That thing your gut knew before your mind was ready to admit it. And I want to end by closing that loop, because there is something you need to hear. You were never the problem. The fact that you trusted deeply, that is not a weakness to fix. That is a capacity to protect. Bravery is what it takes to open yourself to another person. And if someone took that bravery and used it against you, the failure was theirs, not yours. Every experience that hurt you is also information. Information about patterns to recognize. About signals to watch. About the kind of people who deserve your trust, and the kind who don't. You are not broken by what happened. You are sharpened by it. Going forward, you have something most people don't. You have awareness. You have the framework. You have the language to name what you're seeing before it fully unfolds. Use it. If this video reached something inside you, something real, share it. There is someone in your life right now who is carrying this quietly. Who has been hurt and doesn't know how to protect themselves going forward. Send it to them. That one act could change something for them. And drop a locked in the comments if you are choosing emotional sovereignty from this point forward. I want to see you there. Like this video if it gave you something. Subscribe if you want to keep building this kind of awareness. And remember, the most powerful thing you can do is know yourself well enough that the wrong people can't find a way in. You now know more than you did 20 minutes ago. That matters.